Hello everyone, Fanta here, you're watching FANTAVISION, and today I am here to discuss whether or not the Xbox Series X Digital Edition and the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition will kill GameStop. And I also kind of want to throw in, will it kill physical media? Will they be the most popular versions of the console? Will those be the default consoles that people gravitate towards? Now, let's start with GameStop, because GameStop is what Emilium asked from Discord. Thank you again, Emilium, for this idea. I'd had this idea in the past with the Xbox One SAT edition. I'd talked about how that digital edition is just it's not good for GameStop, and it definitely set a precedent for the future of what these companies want to do. They want to be all digital. It's going to cut out a lot of costs from their part, while really not saving us a whole lot of money. People can argue all they want about game sharing and everything like that, but I'm telling you, it's just not in our benefit to have everything digital. Now, when it comes to GameStop's survivability, that does depend on how popular these digital editions are. If I were GameStop, I would not sell these systems in my store. I would not sell the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5 digital only edition in my store. Why? Because that means you are cutting down on the number of places they can buy them. You're cutting down the exposure to these systems. If people are in your store and they just see a cheaper option, a lot of people will pick it, even if it's not the best option. If you remember the Xbox 360 Arcade Edition and you worked in retail, holy shit, I hated that console because so many people bought it and then had no idea that there was like no storage space in that thing at all, and they had to come back and buy an incredibly expensive hard drive and then get very pissed off because, oh, my console's worthless. Yes, it is. You bought the wrong one. Good job, idiot. Now, you could argue that this is, of course, boils down to advertising, and it's up to the people selling these systems to inform the customer, but there are also lots of stubborn customers that do not listen to anything, only hear their own voices, and buy it anyway. So, will this system kill GameStop? I don't think it's going to just be the digital systems that kill GameStop. I think just GameStop as a whole, I don't know, even with this Operation Restore GameStop plan slowly going to be put into action, I don't see them surviving the future. I just don't. Unless they speed up that Operation Restore GameStop, unless they actually go through with those plans, fix up the whole system itself, fix up the stores, fix up every single thing about that company is outdated and irrelevant. I mean, you can sell games at eBay, you can sell games at many different local places, you can sell games at other places, you can buy used games from other places. You can buy new games for cheaper everywhere else except for GameStop. It's $10 off at Amazon, $10 off at Walmart, and then if you still have Gamers Club unlocked, you get 20% off at Best Buy. So there's really no reason to buy new games at GameStop. There's no reason to buy used games at GameStop unless they're older but not too old, because the really old games are hard to find in stores. But if you want like last generation and older games from this generation, you can usually find some decent deals without having to worry about shipping, waiting for the game, and you know it's going to work. Otherwise, you bring it back in 7 days. Now, I would argue that, again, it's not going to be the digital console that kills GameStop. It's certainly not going to help, especially because a lot of people, like I said, are going to make the uninformed decision to buy the digital-only system just because it will most likely be cheaper. And you know, it's just, if people are already buying digital games, they're going to be getting the digital console. That's just how it is. Though, I will argue there are also other people that buy digital games but still want the disc version, depending on the price difference. I think that's where we're going to see whether or not it is a big factor in physical media both kind of going by the wayside and GameStop as a whole being crushed by this new digital age. I mean, that price is going to determine so much. Supposedly the Xbox Series X, or I already forgot. Is Xbox? Yeah, it's Xbox Series. God, I hate that name so much. I'm just going to call it the Xbox. Supposedly, the new Xbox Digital Edition is going to be incredibly cheap compared to the regular console, and it's going to also be much, much cheaper than the PlayStation 5. So if they really do make it that much of a price difference, we're going to see a lot of people adopting that digital-only version. Now, something can be said about the fact that the Xbox Digital Edition is going to be weaker than the Xbox Series X with the more powerful innards and the disk drive. So maybe it's so weird to me that there's going to be tiers of power in the next generation, and then on PlayStation's front, I don't know. I don't know what the price difference is going to be. $50? How much is a disk drive? Seriously, like $50, $100? I think it's going to be about $100 difference. It should only be $50, but I think it'll be about $100 difference because Sony's also going to be wanting to push digital because they don't have to pay for discs. They don't have to pay for, not manuals anymore. They don't have to pay for boxes. They don't have to pay for shipping. They don't have to pay for all these different things. And of course, we don't get past any of the savings, which is really frustrating. But there you go. That's what they're going to keep pushing. They're going to keep trying to push us towards digital. They're trying to make us want digital to be the main option. That's what they're really trying to do because it benefits them so greatly for them to essentially loan us a license to play the game instead of have us actually own the game physically. And there are a lot of people out there that will argue, well, Fanta, you don't really own these games even on the disc to begin with. There's so many games out there with big day one patches. Yeah, if you're talking about AAA garbage titles, that's great. That is actually true. Congratulations. Those awful games I don't really want to play in the first place, or I'm buying for $20 later on down the road. You're right. I probably don't own those games. But all of those other games that I go out of my way to buy a physical copy of, like indie games or games that have had a lot of care and effort put into them and are actually launched in a working state without a day one patch, those games I still own. That's how it is. And if I've already updated even the trash AAA games, I still own the game. I still have it. And as long as my hard drive doesn't fail or something like that, I still have that game forever. Even if they rip it off the store, even if they discontinue that game, even if they lose licenses, even if the CD keys go bad, like what happened on the Tron game. There's so many different things that can go wrong with a digital-only copy of a game. But unfortunately on the PC, as a PC gamer, I don't have that choice really. I mean, I have a couple physical copies, but they're essentially just boxes with art on them because the key is usually a Steam key or some sort of launcher key, and sometimes there's not even a disc. Doom Eternal did not even have a disc in it. And I don't even have a disc drive on my PC because nothing is physical media anymore for the PC. And the difference between console digital and PC digital is the fact that games on the PC will drop like a rock on the digital platform, whereas slowly it's getting better. Slowly we're seeing a lot more sales on the digital front when it comes to console, but a lot of times on the digital storefront, they're still the same price as the physical media, also dropping in price. So and sometimes it's even more expensive. I'm sure you can find a digital version of Final Fantasy, is it 15? I don't know. The one before the 7 remastered came out. The one with the dudes in the car. That's like $5 right now, used at GameStop. $5 for a physical copy. I'm sure it's like $20 on the store. Because they just hit that bottom level at like 20, and they don't go below that unless it's during a sale. So, still, I think digital as a whole, I don't think it'll kill GameStop. I really don't. I don't think these digital editions of consoles will kill GameStop. Certainly won't help, but the only thing that is going to kill GameStop is GameStop themselves. GameStop's reputation, GameStop in the way they do business, GameStop in the way that they are stubborn to fix the practices that people are complaining about constantly, GameStop in not supporting their own entire employee base. I mean, those are all the things that are going to kill GameStop. I don't think a digital console that is launched along with the regular console is going to kill the place. I'm sure they could find some way to do a deal where they make money on the digital editions of selling games, but at the same time, I guess, why would you go to a store to buy a digital game? That doesn't quite make any sense. and their trade-in thing would break down. So if the only scenario where GameStop could be killed by this system is if this is the default system. And I don't see that happening. I really don't. Not yet. I think we're going to see that in the future for sure, but I don't think we're going to see that with this generation. People like me that still buy physical copies of games and see the value in that over digital, I think there are a lot more people like me than there are people that are only digital. There are a lot of people in the middle. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of people that want both. And because there are a lot of people that want both, I think GameStop is safe. And I think the disc versions of these systems are going to sell a lot better than the digital. And I don't think physical media is going anywhere anytime soon until a real game streaming service exists. And even then, I don't think video games are like movies. I don't think they're like music, because a video game, it's just a much longer experience. You could argue that, yes, music is technically an almost infinite experience, because, I mean, I'll listen to the same album over and over and over. I listen to Soundgarden albums. I listen to Iron Maiden. I listen to all these old bands. I know those aren't that old to a lot of people that are watching this, but I listen to very old music, and I listen to them frequently over and over and over. But it seems like licensing issues and stuff like that are a lot more prevalent in video games than with anything else. And I don't know. I feel like piracy will skyrocket once digital is the only option. I see PC sales skyrocketing when console digital editions are the only option, because at that point, consoles will be just PCs. The whole, I just want to pop a game in and play it, is gone. Finito. I understand that there's not as many things to worry about on a console as you do with a PC, with driver updates and stuff like that. But with Steam auto-updating your games, having cloud storage, not making you pay for online, and most drivers and things being automatic updates, PCs are getting easier to use, easier to build, easier in every aspect, whereas consoles are becoming more and more digital and more like PCs every single generation. The only thing that is the difference now between a console and a PC is the fact that you can only play a certain range of games on a console, and you can only play games on it. On a PC, you can play every game to the beginning of PC games pretty much, with the right setup of like DOSBox or whatever you throw on your computer in order to run it. So, I don't know. I just don't think that the digital consoles will kill GameStop, because there are too many people that want both. They want both worlds. They want to buy some games digitally that they know they just want and they're going to hang on to, and then they want to buy the disc versions of other games that are going to go on sale later on, or they'll just pick up randomly on Black Friday, stuff like that. They want the option to buy physical. And also, because these consoles are backwards compatible, a lot of people are going to want the disc editions, and they're going to want to go and buy used games. So we might see actually these systems help GameStop, because the Xbox Series X can play all the way back to the Xbox original, because the PlayStation 5 can play the PS4 games and enhances PS4 games. And because of that, a lot of people are going to go to their GameStop or go on eBay and buy up old PlayStation 4 games, because they want to see them enhanced, and maybe this is the first console for a lot of people. And a lot of people, including myself, when I got my 360, I went back and played a bunch of Xbox original games. I can easily see a lot of people going out and buying older games from the previous generation, just because there are going to be droughts. There are always droughts when a new console comes out. There's not going to be a whole lot to play on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X at launch. There are going to be lots of gamers that want to go out and play new experiences, and there might be people switching from Xbox to PlayStation, and with that will garner a lot more interest in those PlayStation 4 games they missed out on when they had an Xbox One. Maybe the opposite is true. I don't think as much. I think a lot of the PlayStation 4 fans are going to be going to the PlayStation 5. I don't really see Microsoft giving a reason for people to switch. I don't. But if they did, they can go back and play all those old games. And hell, maybe a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 owner in the future will also want an Xbox Series X, so they can go back and play Xbox One games, Xbox 360 games, and Xbox original games. And I'm sure there's a lot of PlayStation owners that have never owned an Xbox, and maybe that backwards compatibility support to 4 different generations of systems, that will bring interest. And because of that, they want the physical copy edition. They want the disc edition. And they'll have to go to GameStop to buy those games. Yes, those games some of them are available digitally on the storefront, but they usually take forever to populate that storefront. Again, when a console launches, they don't have as wide a variety of games. Their storefronts are incomplete. And I think people will be going to GameStop and eBay and their local places to buy used games, and physical media will live on. As long as there's backwards compatibility, I think physical media will survive. Those are my thoughts, at least. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you think the Xbox and the PlayStation digital editions will kill GameStop? Do you think physical media is not long for this world? Or do you think that the backwards compatibility and that continued support of backwards compatibility will keep physical media relevant because it allows people to go back without having to pay whatever the digital storefront bottom price is, which is normally like $20 or something. Whereas when you could go to GameStop, you get a game for like $3 or $4. So let me know. Like the video if you guys liked it. Subscribe for more content. And as always, have a fantastic day. See you guys.